Hello, everybody. This is Andrew Whipple with Leviathan Network, and we're here to show off a pretty freaking cool game. And with me, brand new to this, you know what? I'll just let him introduce himself.
I'll be gentle. It's my first time.
Yes, yes, of course.
This is Eric Watson.
Eric, what do you do on the site?
I write top 10 lists. I do reviews. I write opinions. I'm a triple, maybe even a quadruple threat.
Well, in any case, you were the writer who decided to review Final Exam.
I was, yeah. I ended up actually really enjoying it. Pretty fun cooperative beat-up game.
Well, that's the glory of the indie market on Steam, right? I had no idea what this game was even about. Final Exam, you had no idea it was a side-scrolling cooperative beat-em-up, just by the name.
Right, yeah, complete, just unknown studio as far as I know.
So I haven't gotten too far into this. Only a couple of stages. I've played with multiple people. It's been a really rough and busy few weeks with the launch of the new consoles and such, but definitely wanted to show this game off. Your review was excellent, so if you guys want a good opinion on this, definitely look up Eric's article on the website. But we got you here today so we can explore the game itself. So, alright, why don't you set this up? What the heck is this game for the people who haven't played it?
Yeah. As far as I know, it's a group of 4 alumni from a school, and they're really kind of a breakfast club group of people. There's the jock, the nerd, the cool chick, I guess, the kind of punk rock. There you go, very nice.
Yeah.
And Sean, I guess, is the cool guy. I don't know if he's supposed to be military or something. I think he's wearing dog tags, but they all have different stats. They've got the balanced character, they've got the bruiser, they've got the gun guy, so kind of a good mix. I don't know why these guys are hanging out, but I guess they were going back to their high school for a party. I think it was like a reunion, so I don't know why they're still wearing, I don't know why the football player is still wearing this gear.
Well, it just has to go. So I started off with Cassie. Who did you play as?
I mostly played as Sean, just because I wanted to see how cool the guns were. But Cassie seems like a good starter one since she's the balanced person. Right,
and that's sort of why I just wanted to try it at first. I also tried Sean, and I think Brutal Joe, and yeah, they all have sort of different play styles. I'll pick her just for this. And it's pretty interesting because they have their own statistics, like you said, they're balanced. But all the skills are 100% different. Well, I should say that all the specials are anyway.
All the specials, yeah. It's cool when you first see it. They all have, this really cool looking skill tree. But the entire combat side is the same for everybody, and most of the passive is the same. The very bottom one on the passive is different for everyone's, and usually pertains to the character pretty well. Like Sean gets an instant reload, which is a godsend with, rockets and shotguns and stuff. But the special on the left side is where you can activate all their special abilities, which is a bar that fills up as you kill people.
And you can unlock different weapons too. It doesn't look like there's a lot here, but it at least feels a little bit different from the weapons that I had. Just starting off with the bat, going to the machete, and the Uzi to the 9mm.
Yeah, the melee weapons do a little bit. Like some of them are slower and do more damage, and other ones are real fast. The long-range weapons are actually more impressive with how different they are. There's shotguns that do area effect, but have limited range. You have flamethrower, which will just light everything on fire, which is kind of dangerous in multiplayer.
So I think I've got a couple of CP to spend here, so we'll do one into life, and we'll do one into strength for this. All right, so let's just.
You actually gain progress as you go, which is pretty cool. You can you don't level up necessarily, but you get character points and special points, so you can increase your skills and increase your stats as you go. Alright, so the story, like I said, they just show up at the school and then monsters. That's basically the story. Like monsters appear, like literally as they're driving in the car, they're all driving together, I don't know why. Monsters appear, and so they have to fight the monsters. And that's the story.
Yeah, I mean, needless to say, I don't think we really have to worry too much about the story in this game.
I kind of like those little artsy cutscenes, though. I mean, they're for what it is. I mean, it's it serves a purpose.
Right? Yeah, I think it's pretty. It's cool. I like it. So, it's funny because the first level, we were just talking about this before we decided to start this quick look thing here, but the levels aren't exactly as linear as you think they are.
Yeah, it starts out, the basic tutorial, and then the kind of first level is fairly linear, but most beat 'em ups, you go from the left of the screen to the right of the screen, and that's pretty much the extent of it. Like, there's no real exploration or any of that. And this game actually has some pretty good level design. Like, some of them are quite, I wouldn't say maze-like, but they're more, open, where you can really go in any direction and kind of explore. Some of them have some cool, like, verticality to it, where there's different floors to go up and down. And the monsters continuously spawn, so you're definitely under pressure to get your objectives done, and don't dilly-dally too much, because there's no, unlike Gauntlet or something, there's no, like, monster generators. They just automatically appear.
Yeah, you have to do different combo. In the bottom right-hand corner, you see 24 hits, and you get rewarded based on your combos. So I guess you could just go through this game and just beat dudes up if you wanted to, but that is not the way you're supposed to play this game.
Yeah, the combo system, it's very much sticks to the roots of the beat 'em up, where the points are everything. And you can keep it going throughout the whole game if you wanted to. I believe they have an automatic or a manual combo, which basically automatic will turn it off and lock your combo in. So, like, after this guy, you'd say you're at 28 hits, it'll say, hey, 28 hits, that's pretty good. If you have manual, then it'll just stay like that, and you can keep it going, but it disappears as soon as you get hit. And that counts for multiplayer, too. As soon as anybody gets hit, that combo disappears.
Right, yeah. I can't remember what I've got it on. Does it look like it's manual? Because I learned that the hard way.
If you've been clicking the down button to do it, then it's manual. Otherwise, it's automatic.
Okay, so
or whatever button it is for PC.
You know what? I should have probably changed it to automatic. Let's see if there's something in here. Just, while we're talking about this game, because my score is going to be absolutely atrocious. Because I'm huge into that kind of stuff. I've replayed the first level a few times just to increase my score. But it's a very interesting system. High risk, high reward. Depending on what you want to do.
It's not just leaderboard. It rewards you with better skill points. So there's actually a good incentive to actually get a higher score.
So it is on auto.
Okay.
Yeah, but
that means auto will mean it will automatically disappear once you're out of combat for an extended period of time. If it's on manual, then you have to lock it in each time. But the advantage there is you can keep it going, like, between fights too.
Yeah,
and a lot of times during particularly huge battles, I'll lock it in the middle of the battle. Once you get like 100 or 150, and just start sweating like, oh, I don't want to get hit and lose that combo. So I like that aspect that you can actually lock it in.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I was just reacquainting myself with these controls because it had been a little bit since I had played. There we go. But yeah, everything's in there. Being able to reload. Oh, the spitter, great. The art style, again, it's awesome. It reminds me of how Borderlands introduced a lot of their characters.
Yeah. A little bit of writing they do is pretty nice. The only bummer I had with the art style, the enemies themselves are very similar looking, and the advantage is it makes your character pop versus the enemies. So even if things get crazy chaotic, you can always tell between friend and foe. The disadvantage is there's just not a whole lot of variation between the enemies. They do have, like the melee guys and the spitting guys and the flying guys, and they're literally called like, the hitter, the spitter.
Right, yeah. Like Left 4 Dead enemies.
Exactly.
So I just picked up one of those items. Yeah, there's like little collectibles and such. It's sort of annoying if, I don't know. I like exploring things in any kind of game, but this just doesn't really seem to be that kind of game where I'm going to spend a ton of time doing that.
Yeah, there's a limited amount, and plus, oh, nice. There was one bummer. You timed that perfectly.
Yeah.
If you explore beforehand, it still won't let you complete objectives until that's actually your active objective. So you might have to end up backtracking quite a bit. And, on the one hand, monsters always spawn, so you always have something to do. It's not like in the old days of Gauntlet where you're just running around an empty map. On the other hand, monsters always spawn, so you're always having to fight guys, even if you're going back to the same area 3 times looking for a weapon you missed or something.
I forgot that you can pick guys up and chuck them too, which is what I'm gonna do right now.
There's a lot of the more advanced melee moves have you picking guys up and slamming them against each other or doing other stuff with them. There's an objective late in the game where they make an antivirus, I guess, for the monsters, and you have to chuck guys into the blender to get it to work, which is kind of funny.
Really? Oh look, there's an actual.
And I was playing a game online where the poor guys I was playing with did not understand that they had to do that at all until they literally just watched me do it about 10 times, because you have to do it quite a few times, and they just weren't getting it. They were just killing guys, and I didn't have my mic on to communicate with them or anything, but I was like, they don't really show you. There's no on-screen text or something. They just show you little pictures, so you're kind of supposed to infer stuff from that. These poor guys were not getting it.
So it shows me in the objective. To the right is where I'm going to need to go, but I can't do that yet, at least that's what it looks like.
See, and here's the thing, you might not know, like I think if you do what it says, push the wagon along the tunnel, then it'll tell you, okay, now find stuff.
Right.
And then you'll have to go down here and get the stuff. So that's kind of the bummer, is you just won't know. You're like me, where you want to go explore and immediately go the other direction where it tells you, which is normally pretty cool in games, and this one you can do that, but a lot of times it'll say, okay, well now that you've done this, now go down to that area. Damn it. And there's just no way of knowing. And sometimes I've missed stuff because I think I have to complete an objective, and then all of a sudden it'll take me to a new area, and I'm like, oh no, I needed to go back.
Throw him in the fire, yes! Yeah, the fire is brutal in this game.
Yeah, it's pretty good, although the friendly fire is also brutal, and if you have somebody wielding the flamethrower, then your wife might not like it when you torch everything in sight.
Yeah, so you said that you played this game with your wife in its entirety. Did you know it was going to be co-op at first?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a co-op style. I didn't know how good the local co-op was going to be in terms of how the camera worked and all that.
Right.
It ended up working pretty well. Obviously, the camera can only stay on player one on the lead screen, and it doesn't. It will move with player one, so the other character will get shoved off the screen occasionally, much to their chagrin.
So it just follows player one, is what you're saying?
It does, yeah. I mean, it'll try to keep both players on the same screen, so it'll kind of zoom out a little bit during sections. But if one person, like especially when you do your little supers, when you're doing your smash and you go off screen, there's one later on you learn where you can dash and then hit, and it launches your character and the enemy quite a ways. And then if your partner's on the other side of the screen, then you'll shove them off, and then they scream at you.
Interesting. Yeah, I picked the machete because it closes the gap pretty quickly, and I figured during those extermination sequences, it's pretty nice to have something like that. Whoa.
Yeah, the melees change somewhat with the power attacks. The very last one you get is a chainsaw that you can probably guess what that does during the power attack, and it's very satisfying.
Huh. So did you actually unlock all of the weapons and all the little specials and guns?
I did unlock all the weapons. They're not that... I mean, as long as you're exploring somewhat, they're pretty easy to find. I only ever missed one where I'd actually replay a level to find it.
Speaking of which, there's one collectible right there at 1 of 7. Whatever those are.
The bummer about the collectibles is you only get rewarded if you get all 7. So if you've done a good job but missed one, then oh well, you don't get your extra CP or whatever you get.
Yeah, I don't really. I think, is there something that actually tells you where everything is? Like, I know that there's like the map. It says, oh yeah, objects found, 2 of 7 right here. Weapons found. Oh okay, 1 of 2, and
yeah, that's all you get, I think.
Yeah, I think it sort of stinks. I don't really care that much for it, but the combat is really sort of keeps bringing me back to it. I just think that there's something fun about this. Like, did you ever play Shadow Complex?
I love Shadow Complex, yeah.
I'm a big Metroidvania fan. Castlevania is one of my more favorite series. Well, not where it's going currently, the Lords of Shadow.
Yeah.
But I like...
Was the 3DS one even a Metroidvania?
Yeah, so it was, not to go too far away from this, but no. Bringing up stuff like that's always nice. It's interesting because if you ever played a game like actually sort of like this, Castlevania 3. It's more of an adventure game. You just go around and you can get some stuff, but it's more about just going through each level. That's how the new Castlevania was, instead of like Dawn of Sorrow or Portrait of Ruin or Order of Ecclesia, which to me is sort of a bummer. I kind of wanted to go back and understand it. Oh yeah,
I love those handheld games. Those were the best ones for Castlevanias.
Yeah, they were really good.
That one they had, that multiplayer one they had on XBLA was amazing too.
Oh, you really like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Harmony of Despair. I played it for a while and I thought it was all right, but there was a time limit in the levels. I think they could have just done a better job overall.
So you haven't used your gun too much that I've been seeing. How do you like the ranged combat?
Oh goodness. Well, I just mix it up. The Uzi obviously expends a ton of ammo. Just picked up this new weapon, so I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work, but it looks like it's going to be extremely powerful. I like to try and keep my combos going, just for the extra points. So we're going to, I think, traverse back up top here, just because we're just about done on the bottom half. At least that's what I think.
Found once I had the shotgun, I never went back. And you get the shotgun decently early. I think it's maybe the next one after this one. But it does an awesome like AoE attack, so you can kind of sneak it in there in the middle of all your combos, and it does pretty good.
Yeah, I should show some of my other abilities too. Like I've got the meter that I'm building up right under my life in the top left-hand corner. Yeah, how are some of the specials later on in the game? Like right now I've got incendiary blades, so I'm just lighting dudes on fire.
Yeah, I was kind of wishing they were a little more impressive. I mean, yeah, that's... Like, Sean has 4, but he really only has 2, because 2 of them are just kind of upgrades to the other 2. So visually, weren't as quite as interesting as I was hoping. I hadn't actually seen, everybody's, just because it takes quite a while to unlock some of the later ones, especially.
Right.
But some of them are pretty cool. The one I liked of Sean's turned all his rounds into explosive rounds and automatically gave him an unlimited Uzi, so you could just turn him into a machine and that, which was pretty. That's how you get those 150, 200 combo, pretty quick, because those Uzis are hitting constantly. So.
Now, who did your wife play as?
She was Cassie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you're familiar with the character.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I really hadn't seen any of Nathan stuff, and he seemed like a weird character because his specialty is explosives, but explosives are so limited. You can only carry 3. And there's only, your basic grenades, the Molotovs, which you have now, and then later on you get like a kind of a cluster bomb frag grenade. Which, they already do pretty decent damage, so maybe if you can just instantly kill shit with his, then maybe his is cooler. But I do like the fact that they're different enough to, make it worth changing characters, but because, all the skills, there's a power-up thing down there, collectible.
There is.
Because you unlock stuff with them as you play, you're kind of married to one character as you go, unless you really want to kind of nerf yourself each time, because you're going to have to level people up, which seems a little different from a lot of beat-em-ups where you can just kind of change guys on the fly.
Right. Maybe depending on how long this level takes, we can check out Nathan and see exactly what it is. I noticed that everybody really just starts off as just being some melee bruiser, and then you sort of get to understand, alright, and this is what this character excels at. Does Sean actually... Did you find yourself hardly meleeing with him?
Not at all. I would say I still meleeed quite a bit. That's still what you're doing, which makes me think that Brutal Joe is probably the most powerful overall because, if you try to gun everything, even when I maxed his gun, I was just running out of ammo. Like, you just couldn't keep up with it.
Yeah, well, see, that's what I was thinking of, too. Like, it's going to be limited.
It's a great way to break it up, but I don't think ever give you enough ammo, and you don't ever do enough damage to just... forgo meleeing and just do ranged.
Now, do you think... What did you give this game?
I gave it an 8.
So, do you think that this game would have been better off if... It might be a tough thing to bring up, but... If the characters were a little bit more unique than just specials? Sort of like what we were just talking about, where Brutal Joe might just be focusing on melee, and maybe Sean was just all guns.
Yeah, I think if they just would have maybe balanced it a little more to where every character didn't have to rely on melee so much, then maybe, you could have seen different playstyles a little bit. But as it is, even with, Sean's focus on guns, I was still meleeing most of my attacks and just kind of hitting it up with ranged attacks, to help add to it. He's terrified, not very chill. I think the style fits the game very well. Like the monsters are vicious, but it's all very funny.
Yeah, the stuff in the background right now. See, so this is sort of what I was talking about. They let you explore for a while, but you're better off just following the objectives, and then it'll take you to a new place. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, and it's a bummer the way they designed it like that. Like, on the one hand, I'm glad they didn't have these artificial gates, and they let you explore. But on the other hand, I don't know. It's a weird mix because, you can explore a lot and then go all over the map and then go back to your objective, and then it'll be like, okay, now go here and then go here, and you're like, oh, well, I should have been following this then.
Yeah.
I don't know if the solution is just to open up somehow all the objectives. I don't know, but it's kind of a weird mix. I think my biggest beef with the game wasn't necessarily the character design, but the way the levels repeated actually throughout the game. Like, it's really cool. They have these big, levels right now that you can go around in, and the monsters are spawning all the time. But there's only like 4 of them, and they just repeat them like 2 or 3 times throughout the campaign, which I was super bummed the first time they did that. They were like, okay, here's the next thing. Like, oh, we gotta do this. And then you just spawn back in that level, and I'm like, oh, really?
Wait, you just back in the same level you just went through?
Yeah, and it'll like change up where the collectibles and the monsters are, and maybe you'll have an additional like underground tunnel, maybe, but otherwise it's the same level.
Oh man, that is.
They do. There's like a really cool amusement park level, like a water park, and it's all creepy and closed down at night. And the first time you play, you're like, this is cool, but then the next level it puts you like right back in there, and you're like, what? And you have different objectives and different stuff to do, but still it's the same level. And then eventually you go to the high school, which is another, big, cool level with floors to it and all this cool stuff going on. And then the next level puts you, like, right back in that high school, and you're like,
Wow. That is a bit disheartening.
Yeah, and I have a feeling they had... maybe it was a choice between, okay, we can either do smaller... more linear levels and have more of them, or do these really big, cool levels, but we can only do a few. If that was the choice, then I kind of like the bigger levels, and I guess you kind of have to live with the repeats. But man, you wish you could have had it both ways and just had an actual, like, more lengthy, because it kind of artificially doubles the campaign when you just reuse the same maps.
Yeah, it is. That's a bit upsetting.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so there's the Uzi, but we need to actually go down one more, because that's where he is. Alberto the Mechanic.
Save him.
Yeah, for what it's worth, it's always fun to stumble upon something like this. And the controls feel very responsive.
Yes, yeah. Look at how bloody it is, too.
I know.
For such a kiddie art style, like, they're just flirting blood everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even say it's kiddie. I mean, it's sort of comic-y, but yeah,
that's
it.
the better word for it.
Yeah. Well, I know some people get upset about that. It's like, it's not. It is not like that.
Yeah.
Don't make fun of my game. All right.
Style.
So apparently I'm a whiz. Final exam.
Or a whiz. And it will tally everybody's scores up individually when you're playing multiplayer. But the interesting thing is the combo does work for everybody together. So you're all working for the same combo, essentially.
Uh-oh. He's going to have to put his
blackness.
box down and... No! There we go.
It's
Yeah.
actually pretty creepy when you just have the, like, tendril smoke and the dudes pouring out of there.
Yeah, it is a bit weird.
Use that Molotov.
Oh no. See, alright, so that's funny too. I don't know how you are, but I'm more of a hoarder. Oh goodness. Let's dash away.
Yeah, run away. Yeah, most games I am, but this one they give you stuff a lot, or at least enough to where I was using my stuff during all the big, the big moments. Those approaching packs and times like these, they're kind of designed for you to fire off your abilities.
Oh yeah.
And fire off the grenades.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, there we go. Get away!
Alberto, hurry up, you bastard.
Yeah, this gun does quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, the reload time really sucks on all the guns, and it it doesn't help you at all with the reload. If you reload and then attack somebody, it won't finish that reloading for you. You have to just go through that whole animation, which is very painful if you're a gun person, and that's why Sean's passive ability is so awesome. It says automatic reload, but what it does is just puts your entire amount of ammo into your one clip, so you never have to. Which is pretty awesome, but you have to be pretty high level to get it.
Woo!
Follow him!
I like art style. Like, it reminds me of a recent release was like the Showdown Effect, or this is way back, but you know, I really liked that Prince of Persia remake. You know, just Prince of Persia 2008,
oh, yeah.
whatever it was. Pretty fun, but it's just that like cell shaded look. This game doesn't represent that, but I know a lot of people get upset about certain styles of game. Whoa.
Yeah, this is that, I guess 2.5D they call it, where it kind of, you know, the world is 3D, but you can technically only really move on a 2D plane. But I think it works really nicely for a number of genres, and obviously beat 'em up is one of them.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Okay, so here we go, an approaching pack. Oh, God. As long as you pay attention,
Punch your ass.
Yeah. As long as you pay attention, it's usually not that bad. It's like being able to... Oh, good. One monster wasted. 3 monsters wasted. You gotta keep that combo meter going.
That's right.
Oh, this is not... This is not ideal. I do not like dealing with these guys.
I do like the dash maneuver. Works very nicely.
Yeah, it is.
You can actually... there's some boss fights later on where you have to fight some giant, like, just tank guys, basically. And you can dash through them, which is safer usually than jumping over them. And also a mid-air dash, which is a godsend for anybody that plays these games.
Yep.
Super runaway.
Get him on there.
Yeah, you actually have to toss his ass. So this is an example of having to pick somebody up. The game is usually pretty nice about it. If you just toss it, yeah, anywhere near it, it'll lock him on there. So.
Oh, God. So this is the first boss. What the heck's he doing here?
Yeah, that's the tank guy I was talking about. So
Yeah.
he's pretty strong. Do not let him touch you, basically. Gun actually comes in very handy for him. Yeah, and definitely grenade his ass.
I forgot about his hit the ground stuff. Uh-oh.
So that's, yeah, it's actually prompting you to, hey, you can probably attack him now.
Throw him up.
I'll tell you, I tried playing the game on the hardest difficulty, which actually unlocks after you beat the game on normal. There's an achievement for it, the rock hard difficulty, and it zaps all fun out of the game. It's
Does
just
it?
that hard. Yeah, you get 0 lives, and you can only take, 2 or 3, it's almost Left 4 Dead, you can only take 2 or 3 hits from a guy, and like that tank guy will kill you in 1 hit. And you have 0 lives, so...
Yeah, it's not ideal
Now,
for sure.
in co-op, it's interesting because, like Left 4 Dead, you can revive each other without using a life, which is pretty cool.
Oh,
But-
really?
Yeah, so we could actually beat the first level by staying alive and making sure we never had both of us down at the same time. So it kind of adds an interesting survival thing. But I don't know. I don't think games like this are necessarily designed for those super hardcore survival experiences.
Oh, damn it.
Just zaps the fun out.
Use a life, yeah. God,
Yeah.
I hate...
Yeah,
Hate
so in
dying
like
like
this,
that.
you go down with the skull, and then your partner can go over there and tap the B button, and they'll resurrect you. And you'll still have your life, which is pretty cool.
Gotcha. Yeah, it takes a while to build up that meter, too.
Yeah.
But it's not innately hard. I mean, obviously, not as good while you're talking and playing at the same time, but I'm one of those kinds of people where, like, with Bulletstorm, that game's all about creating combos and just trying to do variety, and that's exactly what I do.
Bulletstorm.
Yeah, Bulletstorm was great, despite what anybody says.
I know.
Alright, so we're going back through the exact same way that we came. Wait, maybe I'm going too far.
Yeah, they use every inch of their levels, which, I mean, I like their big levels. It's cool, and it's different from, that normal, very linear left to right gameplay that beat 'em ups usually have, but it's just such a bummer they have to reuse them.
I went...
Yeah, he did. He's like, what the? Oh, okay.
Alright, so here comes another guy. How about enemies? I noticed there's only 8 levels in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, is there a low variety?
It's another knock. There's not a whole lot. I think you can see there's like different colored versions of each one. There's like a brown and green, but they're all pretty similar looking. I think at this point you still have to unlock the flying guys, and then there's 2 kinds of flying. There's 2 kinds of melee guys. One of them blocks. There's 2 kinds of spitting guys. One of them rolls at you, and one of them jumps on the ceiling. I think you found both of those. And then there's a flying guy that like just attacks you, and there's another one that will grab you, I think. And I believe that's pretty much it. And then there's those big tank guys. So there's not a whole lot. They kind of have like a bare minimum of one of each kind that you would face. And there's, not a whole lot to them visually.
Oh goodness, there we are. I think this is probably close to the end of the level.
I think so, yeah.
Oh!
I mean, the levels are pretty big. Like, I think on average, each one took us like 40 minutes. I mean, it was... And that's with a lot of exploring. I mean, you can go through, and especially because on multiplayer, a lot of times you'll get ones that are like, hey, you need to pick up these 3 objects that are in the 3 corners of the map. Well, on multiplayer, you can all split up and then go do those together. So you can actually beat levels in, 20 minutes or something and go pretty quick.
Right. I mean, I wasted a lot of time in the beginning of this because I was just exploring down in the bottom.
Yeah, and I think that's, pretty normal on pace for kind of how they want people to do. But I mean, I like that each level is pretty beefy.
Oh, stay there. Yes. All right. We'll save some skills because I'm sure there's going to be some type of boss. Is there a boss on every stage?
No, some of them have like big survival type moments that you have to overcome, and then that'll be the end.
Oh,
some of them have, like that first boss on the subway was kind of a very gimmicky boss where you had to like throw the things at him.
Right. Well, you didn't know that the tank was going to become a normal enemy either.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like a 2-phase boss fight in a way. Get down here.
There's one really cool moment that I wish they would have done more of. That you pilot like this old parade float or something, but it's like a vehicle that up to 4 people can get on, and you can choose what gun you want to get on. And one of them is like the flamethrower on the bottom. There's machine guns on both sides and a rocket launcher on top. And it's a really cool moment because you're having to move it forward while dudes are just coming at you and you're just tearing them apart. It's a good way to kind of break up the standard gameplay. And with 2 people, you can go back and forth between all the different gun emplacements, which is really cool. And in the end, they do the classic, they put you on one of the flying monsters, and you get to fly around like a sky area and like shoot at shit as it just comes across the screen. Very old school.
So this area looks... I really do appreciate the visual style of this.
Mm-hmm.
They did a pretty good job. And again, every game is going to have its weaknesses, and for what you said in the review, you know what? It's still fun. Like, it's still something that you can jump into. If you have a buddy come over, you can just do a little bit of couch co-op. I mean, how many times have you beaten Castle Crashers?
And it's $10. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, this is not meant to be a huge competitor with some of these games. This is very much a fun, casual, very co-op friendly beat 'em up. And I mean, for $10, this is absolutely amazing.
So it's on Steam, and is it on Xbox Live and the PlayStation Network?
Yep, all 3: PSN, XBLA, and Steam.
It's a pretty good deal. Man, these things just do not want to die.
You'd think the freaking engineer guy would help a little bit. He just kind of stands there.
All right.
Push me.
Yeah, I don't think so. Oh goodness. Ah. Alright, we'll keep him in the air. This part because hey, why not? Did you encounter any kind of glitches or game-stopping bugs?
No, everything went smoothly.
Good. Then there you go. Mighty Rocket doing work. I'm just gonna skip that collectible. So how do you feel about collectibles in games, Eric?
You know, I'm not necessarily a perfectionist when it comes to it. I'm not gonna collect all 400 Riddler trophies because there's 400 of them.
Oh my god.
But
I agree.
if it's if it's doable and I'm really enjoying the game, then I'll go for it. I do say I appreciate it when games reward you for at least partially getting some, especially if there's a ton. And I think like the Batman games, like how in Arkham City at least they give you, like one of those Riddler events every like 80 or something that you did, and that was cool because I felt like I didn't have to get all of them just to see something I could do, just some of them, and get some kind of reward. So this one, they don't have a whole ton. It's nice they have some, but you do have to have. Oh, he's zapped. You do have to have some, or you'd have to have all of them in order to actually get the reward. You can't just do partial. Once you do collect them, though, they're always collected. You don't have to get them again.
Wow. Okay. Good to know.
And you have to jump on the train when you get zapped. Yeah.
Just figured that out.
It will kill all the guys on the screen, though.
Which is a good thing.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah. Get out of here.
I think they do a pretty good job of having these kind of little events in there to help break up, the regular gameplay too.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's not just go through the level, kill dudes. There's a little more to it.
Yeah, because the basic gameplay of the whole genre is pretty repetitive, so it's good to have any kind of extra bit you can. I would love it if every BMFO had a sense of progression with the characters. I really love that aspect.
Well, did you ever play Double Dragon Neon?
Wasn't that supposed to be terrible?
Well, according to I think the IGN review, yes. But
okay.
I had a lot of fun with it. I had a lot of fun with it because sort of like this game, I love movies that are like so bad that they're good. If that makes sense.
Does that work with games though?
Well, it does. I mean, look at this though, right? I mean, they obviously don't.
This is a good game.
Right. I know. I'm talking about the story. The story in itself.
Story. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's going
for. It could be like goofy. Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous. Like they're on their way to a reunion, and there's like some kind of alien or like apocalyptic thing that's going on.
I think that's the key. Like you can have a ridiculous story, but your gameplay, still has to be tight and all that.
Sure. Right. Like Shadows of the Damned. Great game.
I think they explain the story as some kind of virus or mutation. I think. I don't know. They don't really go for it too far into it.
They don't need to. All right, weird.
I wish they had like some characters you could unlock or something, like additional ones.
It's funny what we ask for, right? Like,
yeah.
There are certain people.
And I think it's a sign. It's a sign that you enjoy the game too, when you want like more stuff out of it.
Absolutely. Oh, all right. So here we go. Yeah, the level does feel long, like you were saying. But the action is, see, like there's little dudes and there's big dudes. Oh, he got me.
Yeah, but you can tell, again, they're pretty much all the melee guys are the exact same design. They're just either slightly different color palette,
right,
or slightly different size, but
oh, get out of here.
But yeah, the actual combat and the controls and everything, that's always got to be key in these kind of games, and I think it feels pretty fantastic in this one. I like that flashlight on that gun too, helps you aim. It's a neat effect.
It is. It really does remind. Whenever I aim, I just think, oh man, it'd be really nice to play another Shadow Complex again.
Yeah. God, that game was so good.
It was really great.
That was just straight up Metroid.
Oh damn! I had a pretty good combo going too.
Yeah, and if you notice, it had confirm with, and then it had like the down button on the D-pad. And that's you can lock it in
see it
on your own. Even if you're playing in automatic mode, you can lock in your combo ahead of time if you're afraid that you're going to lose it. So if you have a good one, you can actually lock it in.
But why would I want to do that with automatic?
Because you might get hit and then you lose it like immediately.
Okay, but doesn't automatic just automatically submit it for you?
No, automatic just means that it will end after the combat. Manual means it will never end until you lock it in.
Oh,
Automatic
shoot.
is-
Okay, I misunderstood you. Damn. All right, that's not good.
Automatic, yeah.
So I
Automatic-
lost all those big combos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You'll have to lock them in.
Yeah. I almost made gold regardless.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, you can see here you get SPs for just beating the level, but then also for how high of a score you do. So that's good incentive there. And then you get the CP based on the weapons and basically all the collectibles you get. Which I think SPs are way more exciting.
All right. Well, before we end this, real quick, let's see what the hell Nathan's about. Let's look at his character sheet.
I mean, look at his melee and gun is terrible. Like, I don't know. He's got the most amount of life of anybody, but that doesn't seem like the best way to go about playing the game is to make it go that much longer.
Well, I mean, he only has 2 life. It says he has the most for
he has
explosives.
the most life. He just has the least amount of melee and gun.
Ah, and he looks so ugly.
Yeah, they really. Yeah. He's the brain of the group.
Okay, you know what? Just doing this, I'm glad. Like that's one thing that I want to dock this game for, though. Is just why do you have to unlock every weapon for every character?
That is
come
dumb.
on.
Yeah. I kind of spoke to that earlier, where it's you very much feel like married to that character because all your stat points and your CPs and all that only literally just go for the character you're playing as. They really want you to have to. I'll just start from the beginning if you want to change dudes. And it's tough because, like a lot of games, you don't know how the game is when you're picking your dude at the beginning. Like, you have no idea if you're going to like the melee or like the abilities and stuff, so you just kind of have to pick one. And then you might play half the game and be like, oh, well, I kind of hate this character, but if I switch, I'm going to have to start over with all my points.
Right, yeah. So it looks like right now it's not really much of a big deal. Since it's so early in the game, it's your specials and that's it. Yeah, see, I'm doing significantly less.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right now this isn't really much of anything.
And it takes a while before you can unlock your last, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Ability. You really have to be...
Okay.
They most of the game. I think I got to the second to last level, or maybe the last level, before I finally unlocked my final special power.
He makes a really weird noise too. Do you hear that?
Oh, I've got it.
Listen. Can you hear him?
That's weird.
Very, very, very strange. All right. Well, why don't we end it here? We showed an entire level of this. Eric, thank you so much for explaining everything about Final Exam, and yeah, this is a pretty damn good game.
It really is. Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff you can knock about it, but I mean, for $10, and if you have some friends that just want to play a beat 'em up together, it's a pretty fantastic game, and honestly, probably one of the best I've played in the genre.
All right. Well, thanks, Eric.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on here.